So here we are, the final psalm in Book 2 of the Psalms. Psalm number 72 is our location this morning if you want to go ahead and find your way there quickly. Psalm 72, the title in English, the one given by the editors, is Give the King Your Justice. The title in the Hebrew would have been Of Solomon. Now, scholars vary on their opinion here. Was this song written by Solomon, or is this song written by Solomon? And part of that leads to the question of what happens in verse 20. So if you look down at the end of the page, if you bottom your screen to verse 20, it says there in verse 20, the prayers of David, the son of Jesse, are ended. So the question is, the debate surrounds from this very fact. The prayers of David. Is the editor who put all this together in the ancient days saying that this is the end of the collection of a bunch of Davidic psalms? And we've seen a whole bunch of them, but here lately we've seen a few that aren't. But all the Psalms of David are originally collected here. Now today in the English Bible there are other psalms later that they were added much later than this initial collection. Or should we read it as verse 20 being the end of this particular psalm as well? That this has been a prayer of David and it ends here as well. It's a little hard to determine exactly, but the picture seems to be that the psalmist has in mind not just King David or King Solomon, but a later king who could actually truly fulfill all these things. So let's go ahead and read and see what the psalm has to say for us today. Give the king your justice, O God, and your righteousness to the royal son. May he judge your people with righteousness and your poor with justice. Let the mountains bear prosperity for the people and the hills in righteousness. May he defend the cause of the poor of the people, give guidance to the children of the needy, and crush the oppressor. May they fear you while the sun endures, and as long as the moon throughout all generations. May he be like the rain that falls on mown grass, like showers that water the earth. In his days may the righteous flourish, and peace abound, till the moon be no more. May he have dominion from sea to sea, and from the river to the ends of the earth. May desert tribes bow down before him, and enemies lick the dust. May the kings of Tarshish and of the coastlands render him tribute. May the kings of Sheba and Seba bring him gifts. May all kings fall down before him. All nations serve him. For he delivers the needy when he calls, the poor and him who has no helper. He has pity on the weak and the needy, and saves the lives of the needy. From oppression and violence he redeems their life, and precious is their blood in his sight. Long may he live. May gold of Sheba be given to him. May prayer be made for him continually, and blessings invoked for him all the day. May there be abundance of grain in the land. On the tops of the mountains may it wave. May its fruit be like Lebanon, and may people blossom in the cities like the grass of the field. May his name endure forever, his fame continue as long as the sun. May people be blessed in him. All nations call him blessed. Blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel, who alone does wondrous things. Blessed be his glorious name forever. May the whole earth be filled with his glory. Amen and amen. The prayers of David, the son of Jesse, are ended. And so whether this is a psalm written by David about Solomon, a prayer for his son, or whether this is a prayer from Solomon praying maybe for himself, though it would seem rather prideful, some of the things he asks, or together are we to read this, whether it's David or Solomon, a king of Israel, recognizing that he's not the final answer for God's people, praying that God would in fact one day send the king, the one promised to David, the one who would rule forever, the one who would greatly bless not only the people of Israel, but the whole world. And so let's look for some of those clues in this particular psalm, and let's see what we might get out of it. So the prayer begins, for the king, give your king justice. May his righteousness, God's righteousness, be given to his royal son. And so the prayer is that the king would be a righteous one, like God, like the royal son. Is it a prophecy about the Son of God being the king we're to look for? May he judge the people with righteousness and your poor with justice. The kings would certainly do that in extreme cases, but we also know the Bible promises in the New Testament that Christ is coming back to judge. Let the mountains bear prosperity for the people and the hills in righteousness. May God bless them during this reign. May he defend the cause of the poor, give deliverance to the children of the needy, and crush the oppressor. Again, that's the role of a king, but certainly Christ's ministry could be described that way as well. Blessing the poor, taking care of the children, crushing the oppressor. Think of the image here, I do anyway, of the promise to Adam and Eve that one day their son would crush the head of the serpent. May they fear you while the sun endures. May they, as long as the moon throughout all generations. May the nations recognize, respond, revere the king, essentially, verse 5, forever. May he be like the rain that falls on mown grass, like showers on the earth. May he be a blessing, is the prayer there. May his days of the righteous flourish and peace abound. So he's now the Prince of Peace, bringing peace to the world. For how long? Till the moon be no more, forever. May he have dominion from sea to sea, from the river to the ends of the earth. Musically, that's superlative. It's everywhere. But it also is the prediction, the promise perhaps, that one day he would rule the entire earth, not only from the Mediterranean Sea to the Dead Sea, but from sea to sea around the world. And of course, maybe you're thinking of sea to shining sea. As we think about America, people often understood America to be a nation of blessing, not only from God's blessing to us, but it meant to be our blessing through or for God through to others. But certainly here the Messiah, the King, is going to rule from end to end. May desert tribes bow down before him, the enemies lick his dust. What do serpents do? They crawl and eat dust. Again, prophecy of Genesis 3. May the kings of Tarshish, often believed to be in the far coast of Spain, and the coastlands render him tribute. May the kings of Sheba and Seba, most people tend to think these are in Saudi Arabia today, the Arabian Peninsula. May those come. Verse 11, may all kings fall down before him, and all nations serve him. I think here of Philippians 2, where it says, one day every knee will bow, and every tongue will confess. He delivers the needy, verse 12, the poor, and they have no need of any helper. He is there. He has pity on the weak and the needy. He saves their lives. From oppression and violence, he redeems them, and precious is their blood in his sight. A later psalm says the same thing about the death of God's saints. And so, is there yet again another connection here, this king being closely related to God? Long may he live, may the gold be given to him, may prayer be made for him continually, blessings invoked from all day long, may there be abundance. Here's that blessing again that comes with his rain of grain. May it wave, there's your amber waves of grain. May its fruit be like Lebanon, may the people blossom. And then back to this messianic language of verse 17. May his name endure, how long? Forever. His fame continue as long as the sun, really forever. May people be blessed in him. Not only blessed by him, but now there's this prayer for blessing in him. And all the nations shall call him blessed. That's the promise again of God to Abraham in the covenant with him. Because of all this, verse 18, 19, and 20, blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel, who alone does wondrous things. Blessed be his glorious name forever. May the whole earth be filled with his glory. Real quick connection here. Notice the final prayer there in verse 17 for the king. May he be blessed, and may the people be blessed in him. And yet, the very next verse says, blessed be the God, the Lord, the God of Israel, because he alone does wondrous things. And so again, is there a connection here between the coming king, the messianic ruler over all the world, who will be blessed like God, perhaps because ultimately he is God. God the Son, the second person of the Trinity, the descendant of David, humanly speaking, the only one of God, speaking as Jesus says in John 3:16. May he come, may he reign, may he bring peace, may he bless his people, and may they praise his name forever. May we join with the psalmist as we end this second book of the Psalms, looking forward to the coming of God's King, the one who would bless the world, and the one whom we're to bless with every breath we have, from now until all of eternity. May God be blessed, and may his glory fill the earth from sea to shining sea. May it be, and may it be. Amen and amen.